Back with another video today, and Dahlia is here as well. Today we're doing our top 20 fragrances that your dad wore. All coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian, this is Dahlia. Dahlia and I like classic fragrances. You like vintage, classic, older fragrances.
I do, and another thing that Sebastian and I share is that we have very strong smell associations or olfactory associations, scent memories. So maybe this is kind of a throwback, but what are we doing today, Sebastian?
We are counting down top 20 fragrances that your dad wore. So a lot of these fragrances are fragrances that my dad wore, perhaps your dad wore,
A few of them.
and perhaps your dad wore.
And maybe you haven't thought about them in years. If you haven't subscribed already, Sebastian usually says this, but there's a button down below. Click the subscribe button and the little notifications so that you get to see all of these videos that Sebastian mostly is putting out there for you.
Thanks, Dahlia.
Anytime. So yeah, so it's designer month, and these are some classics that we are bringing.
Mostly designers.
Aren't they kind of all?
No.
No,
We have
mostly designer, and it is a top 20 because it's kind of our jam. So we
have a jam.
Yeah.
Do you like jam?
You're the jam in my jelly roll.
Oh my god, you know what? In Spain I had quince jam. It was so freaking good. Do you like quince?
I have no opinion on quince.
Quince jam in Spain. It's so good.
I will keep that in mind.
Back to the video.
Starting with 20.
Okay, so 20 is a fragrance that my dad wore, but we put it in the bottom because it's a freshie. It's been reincarnated a couple times. This is from an old designer called JACQUES, and it's called Green Water. Green Water is a fragrance.
Essential.
Yeah, it's part of the essentials, the JACQUES essentials.
It's enormous.
It's spelled F-A-T-H, and somebody had corrected me. You don't pronounce the H, so okay, we're not pronouncing the H anymore. It's JACQUES.
It's very light. It's like one of those oldie-timey splashes where it's very light and fresh, and it is literally called green water. So
it is green.
In case you didn't notice that on your own. So your dad wore this.
Yes, not this particular bottle.
This is a new
way
one.
back in the 70s.
Throwback. So that's number 20.
20. What's number 19?
I don't know. Oh! I love this house. I have a lot of classics from...
CARON?
Is that how you say it?
CARON.
I've been saying it horribly wrong this entire time. And what is this one called, Sebastian?
YATAGAN.
So this is kind of a different one.
This dates back to the 70s. It smells like a pine forest, but wait until you wear it. It starts smelling like a little bit like urine. There's a little bit of animalic touch to it. Like it smells like a little bit of a pee touch.
It is a little funky. I'm not getting any...
But you know what? Out of the bottle, it smells like a pine forest. It's fresh. It's very fresh and aromatic and piney. But once it hits the skin, a little bit later, it becomes a little animalic, musky. The animalic note in here is castoreum.
For all you funky dads out there, number 19.
Yep. YATAGAN.
Number 18. Such a cool bottle.
HALSTON Z14. Memories galore with this one.
This one's nice.
We had just moved to the States, early 80s. Both my dad and my uncle wore HALSTON Z14. It's lots of...
not fresh, but it is bright. It's got some sort of a citrus component, I think.
I think this is considered a sheep fragrance.
That probably...
From what I remember reading.
You've used this.
This bottle is like 10 years old. I mean,
oh, okay.
I bought it in the mid-2000s, and I don't use it much anymore. I just bought it because it's a classic, and you've got to love this kind of stuff. And I remember as a kid just stealing sprays from my dad and my uncle. The other thing is, Tom Ford had a fragrance in the private blend called Italian Cypress. I think it was what it was called. That smelled like this, but that was the luxury version of this, because this is like a cheap $10 DJ Maxx fragrance.
This reminds me of another fragrance that is further ahead in the countdown.
Oh.
And I will
tell me off
that
camera.
out. Yeah, sorry, secrets.
Let's press
18.
on. Yes.
And 17 is another classic house.
This is a house called ARAMIS. You know this house. Very,
Make
very
scarves,
expensive.
ladies who are...
bags.
reminiscing on dad fragrances, known for their...
This is a vintage bottle of Equipage. Just a classy, masculine, fresh, spicy fragrance. As I said, this is vintage, so the bottles do not look like this anymore. But it still smells great. Let me smell it on you. I love this one.
It does smell sort of dadly.
Sort of dadly?
Sort of, well, more than sort of.
Number 16 is one that you know probably even wear it now. It's called VETIVER from GUERLAIN. Very, very popular fragrance.
This is a nice bright
Fresh,
take on VETIVER as
very
well.
spicy, woody. That sprayed a lot. That really like went across the street. Still, it smells good though.
This one's really good. This is a modern classic.
Yeah, I think the crowd probably knows this one. If they don't know the previous ones, although I've done a review for Green Water and I've mentioned the YATAGAN many times, but the previous two no. But this one I talk about a lot, so you must know this one, and it's very, very popular.
Yeah, for the younger dads.
Yeah.
Number 15, ARAMIS 900, very dadly.
Dadly, manly.
Yeah, this
manly,
one's great.
dadly.
It is. It's kind of herbal. It's but it's
It's
got
oak moss and patchouli and rose and a bunch of other things.
This is really nice.
This is ARAMIS. You could probably find us for around $20, $25. It's really, really cheap. It's cologne, so I don't think it's like very intense concentration of perfume. But I think this lasts, even though it's light on the concentration.
And if the bottle looks familiar and you think some dad type that you remember might have worn it, it might be a nice sort of nostalgia.
It's a great scent. All of the ARAMISs
really
are great.
Yeah, and they're not, it's not, you know, we're not saying dad scents are bad. It's more about the sort of the nostalgia of it. Wearing them yourself today is kind of cool. Like almost like hipsters wearing vintage or
yeah, exactly.
something like that. So number 14 is One Man Show.
By Jacques BOGART.
This is the gold edition. I actually had not encountered this before, but it definitely has that kind of dadly feel.
But this is the one that came out in the 2010s. The original that the dads wore was launched in 1980. That's the original One Man Show. The brand's been around since the 70s. One Man Show was probably their third fragrance. I love this brand. Everything they release is beast mode. So if you like beast mode.
This is another sort of herbaceous
one.
one.
Can I smell? This actually kind of reminds me of a fragrance we reviewed together.
Uh-huh. Which one?
État Libre de Orangerie and Intense Incense.
Oh, no.
Totally. Do a side by side with État Libre de Orange. But the original is all very, very masculine. We just wanted to put this one in here because dads used to wear...
Fresh herbal gardening dad. Dads who garden.
This is gardening?
It's
oud. You know, you bring out the green.
I do, actually.
That's weird.
Well, I'm not a dad. I never will be a dad.
Okay, you're not a dad. Next up, we're going to the house of Antonio Puig, and this is QUORUM.
This is number 13.
This is a Spanish brand.
QUORUM is a great name.
Oh my God, I love this one. My uncle wore this one. My dad didn't, and I used to go steal sprays from my uncle, and it's just, I just love that about it. And I love the gold detailing and the brown cap. It was
Is
just...
this the 70s? Is this like a 70s?
Well, I remember in the early 80s because that's when I remember my uncle.
It has that total kind of feel of, this totally fits into my association of dad fragrances.
Wow. This is
really nice.
Lots. I remember a lot about this one, and I always wanted to wear it because I just love that bottle. It just looked really cool. But it does look 70s. You're right. It probably was launched in the 70s. I don't remember.
Yeah. It doesn't smell old.
I don't remember right now exactly.
Oh, that's a smart way to do it.
Oh yeah. I remember this one. It's funny. It's funny because the first time I went to Barcelona, we decided to go to a city called Sitges, south of Barcelona, and we stayed in a hotel there. And they were pumping out this like very 70s fragrance. This was like early, like 2010, I think, is when I went. It smelled like I walked in a time warp of 1970s. Like I almost wanted to envision like these guys wearing like, you know, the chest hair hanging out, and the fragrance was so strong.
Marks in their hair, all slicked back, like stubble.
But it totally reminded me of this because this is a Spanish brand.
That's great.
Anyway, Antonio
this is Lucky 13 is pretty good. This next one is hilarious. You got a great deal on this one, didn't you?
$10.
Number 12.
Or maybe $12. It's great flannel from Jeffrey BEENE. Now this one actually also my dad wore, and oh man, lots of memories.
So dadly. My dad never wore that. If your dad was like Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Now, I don't hate this. There's some people out there that have given it really, really bad reviews.
Oh, it's nice.
I mean, it reminds me of the 80s, and I remember...
It's nice.
I remember being a kid smelling all the perfumes and fragrances my mom and dad had. And that's exactly what it reminds me of. Although I think it was stronger before. This is kind of like a watered down version.
I kind of agree, actually. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's nice. It's kind of a... kind of a...
The problem is I bought this not used, but I guess it was like a tester. It doesn't come with a little flannel casing that it usually comes with. So I kind of wish I had that, but then I don't know what I'd do with it anyway. So
I bet I could ask my mom and she'd sew you
it's okay.
a little flannel pouch for it. Number 11.
Number 11. Man, okay, I want to tell you a little story before I tell them. So I was in Spain last month, right? Spain and Portugal. And I was in the Sephora store and I was smelling some fragrances and I came across this one and I'm like, God, I don't remember this one. And I smelled it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. So I had to go get it. This is another one that I got a great deal on. This was 20 bucks on FragranceNet. And this is Van Cleef and Arpels Pour Homme. To me, it smells like a pine forest. It smells like a pine forest. Literally, absolutely love it. 20 bucks. This is dating back to 1978 or 79 when it was launched. And everybody probably remembers the fragrance Midnight in Paris, of course, the same brand. But then I think the one that I wore in the early 90s is called Czar. Similar bottle, I think a different color. But this is the original one that they launched with for men.
But a lighter pine forest. Can I smell? Not like a very resinous kind of... Hi Mary. It is a lighter kind of piney, but it has that same kind of feel of a splash, like that kind of old world approach to... you know, maybe after you shave, you do just a splash to kind of start your day, and it's not meant to wear like beast mode. This is kind of a lighter
beast mode?
There's no beast mode at all. But it's that same kind of herbaceous feel that I mentioned before, like Garden Dad that the One Man Show has. It's turning super green on me.
This is Forest Dad.
Forest Dad who...
Pine Forest Dad.
Tree dad. Oh, we should have like little dad cartoons for all of them. That would have been so cute. Number 11.
Number 11. So it's Van Cleef and Arpels Pour Homme.
You guys are troopers. We're at the top 10. Number 10 is Givenchy. Gentlemen. Because dads can be gentlemen too.
Of course. I'm a gentleman.
You're not a dad.
But I can be a gentleman without being a dad.
What are you trying to say?
Oh man, this is so good.
This is nice. This has kind of a patchouli to my nose.
I think it's oak moss. Oak moss tends to kind of smell like patchouli sometimes.
Yeah.
Is this considered a sheep?
I have no idea.
This is so good. This is actually a classic. This is not what their gentleman now smells like. This is like...
Oh, is that an older bottle?
Well, no, this is a modern release or like a latest release, but it's the very first one that came out. I don't know when it came out, like 70s? 50s, 40s? Not 40s, probably like 60s
probably
or
not
70s.
40s.
Probably 60s or maybe 70s, I think. But this is their very first gentleman fragrance.
It's nice. It's again sort of a light splash. On me, it wears like a patchouli, but a light one.
But there's a little bit of funk in there too. Something animalic.
I get kind of a patchouli vibe.
Civet, Castoreum.
Cool dads, rad dads. Chewy dads.
Next up.
Number 9 is Chanel Soup's classic.
ANTAEUS.
I'm so glad you said it. Tell me about this one. Actually, this I don't have a dad association with, but...
This is another one that I absolutely loved as a kid, and I absolutely wanted it because I absolutely loved the ad campaign for this. They were sexy, and the bottle is just sexy as hell. It's just, look at that. Do you know this one?
I don't. I love it though. It's a modern, I would say this fits into that modern classic kind of.
Do you think it's a modern classic?
Oh yeah, this is a very...
Do you think the modern noses would wear something like this? Because it comes off very old to me.
Does it?
I think this is something that dads would wear, and probably older generation that still wears fragrance wears it. But I don't see much talk about this one.
I actually think this bridges the generations really well. To my nose, this has that kind of Chanel feel that it fits in with the line very well. It's not too light, not too heavy. It's sort of crisp, tailored.
But I think this
Classy dad.
used to be like a major powerhouse when it first launched.
I don't remember that.
I just found the bottle to be very sexy as a kid. I really wanted it, but Chanel's were always like more expensive than other fragrances, and my mom would never buy this for me. The whole thing, the bottle, everything about it was just very sexy.
I don't actually have any history with this. My dad didn't wear it. I don't have any association with it. So I'm smelling it kind of now
New.
as an adult. It's dad who takes mom to black tie events.
You think so?
Yeah, that one is, to my nose, it's more of a tailored kind of cufflinks kind of a dad.
Yeah, I could see that.
We should give each one of these an association. This is cufflinks dad. At number 8, we
Yeah.
have more of a classic.
A classic
Just showered kind of a dad.
120-year-old fragrance, Blenheim Bouquet, from the house of PENHALIGON'S.
Oops.
And I first wore it in the late 90s, and I loved it, and I do have a new bottle now.
It's,
What is a total dad scent?
It's but it's that sort of shave your face and splash kind of dad scent. It's
I mean, I think I would put this with like some fragrances like Green Water, Eau Sauvage, kind of in that same ballpark.
I don't know if it's lavender, but there is some sort
There
of
is a little lavender in here.
Yeah, it's soapy in a great way that this is probably actually unisex.
Oh, totally unisex.
In the modern conception of that, but it's
yeah.
this is freshly showered dad.
Now this one I think also would appeal to modern noses more than like the previous two, like the ANTAEUS and the Givenchy Gentleman. Those seem very, very classic and more dad-like compared to something like this.
I actually disagree, only because in the fragrance community, somebody who has already kind of made that leap of fragrance being not as gendered as you think, that men do wear florals. Yeah, in that sense, but for somebody who maybe has modern day associations of masculine versus feminine, this might actually come across as really floral.
Oh, okay.
But it's in the classic sense of...
You think it's floral?
Totally.
It's more herbal to me than floral. Maybe there's some traces of flowers in there, but it's more herbal and citruses. And some woody notes in the base.
It's nice and fresh and clean.
It's very refreshing. Next up is,
7.
got a lot of meaning for me. It's my dad's lavender one, CARON pour un homme de CARON. Lavender, vanilla, and musk is what this fragrance is all about. I think it's just 3 notes is what I see listed on Fragrantica. It's a very simple, straightforward fragrance, which was targeted to men.
It is almost like a candied lavender. There is a sort
Sweetness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, in that category of like just shaved and splash, that kind of feel. This is a lighter, kind of freshly showered, clean dad.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, it doesn't feel light. There's this thickness to it. There's this
Maybe
dense...
that's the sugary part of it.
Maybe. It's really, really nice. It's lovely. It's very unisex as well. I guess in the old days, they thought they would target lavender as a men's fragrance, which traditionally in fougere it is. Mm-hmm. But here, it comes up very unisex.
It's in that same boat as geranium and maybe sometimes rose, where it's a floral that can be quite masculine. But is it really a flower? Yes. There are lavender flowers. They are purple.
But it's an herb growing flowers.
This is like the conversations people have about vegetables versus fruits and how like a tomato is actually a fruit, not a vegetable. And like...
Avocado is a fruit too.
That would be the rabbit hole. We all see it over there. And we're not going to go down it.
Next up, number 6.
So you said this is from the 50s?
Habit Rouge. 50s or 60s?
Habit
Rouge. Habit Rouge. Now this is what I read that when they made this fragrance, they were kind of trying to make the men's version of Shalimar.
Oh. I
think that's what I read. Because it's got vanilla in it.
Oh, it's so good. This is actually more of a powerhouse than a lot of the ones. A lot of the fragrances that we're calling dad fragrances have that kind of splash, kind of that quality of you
cologne.
know, there you go, right? That it's not
splash
the
cologne.
entire day. This fits more with maybe not beast mode, but this is more substantial to me.
Cologne mode.
It's delicious. I kind of want to wear this myself.
I did also read that in 2001 they redid the formula. I guess they made it more modern. Whoops.
Got it.
And now they have the uniform bottles too.
Pretty.
Whereas the Habit Rouge is red. If you want to grab the Vetiver, it's green cap. So they kind of match now. Well, match but not color.
Dramatic.
Anyway, Habit Rouge is number 6.
It's really nice actually.
I love it. It's great.
It's still bright and classic and clean, but maybe with slightly more depth. And I don't know.
Well, wait until you smell the EDP.
Oh, am I going to?
No, not in this video.
Top 5, guys. Yay.
Okay, top 5 is 2 fragrances from the same house. They're redone every so often. First it was launched in the 50s, late 50s. Then the second incarnation was launched in the 90s, CARVEN Vetiver here. And then in the 2010s they launched another Vetiver. Well, it's the same fragrance, just modern or modernized. But it's a designer, CARVEN. It's a designer, right? CARVEN?
I think so. They make
Yeah,
clothes.
yeah.
And so these are reformulations, or it's the same?
It's the same fragrance, just released in that era. So this is the 90s version of that Vetiver.
Oh, this is good.
This is an EDP, and this is in the 2010s when it came out, probably 5 years ago. And this is EDT.
This is like mouth-wateringly good. It's
love
not
this
a gourmand
Vetiver.
at all, but it's very, you kind of notice it. Like, I might rubber deck if there was a dad wearing this one.
Really?
That's
You like
nice.
it?
I do, I like this.
This one's really good. If you find it still, get it. But the latest one's okay too. Have you smelled it? Here, you smell it out of there. But yeah, CARVEN Vetiver is really nice. The reason it beat out the GUERLAIN Vetiver...
It has a lot of depth. It has layers. There's kind of a bright opening, but there's it really develops into this.
Yes, because this one's more depth. This one definitely has more depth than the Vetiver GUERLAIN. But I think also we're kind of tired of the GUERLAIN Vetiver a little bit. We're bored of it.
We're not the longest attention spans, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway, top
next
5.
up.
Number
Next
4.
up. We have Chanel Pour Monsieur in the EDT formula, or the EDT concentration.
Super deadly.
So I just found out recently, well, I was told by the sales associate at Macy's this is only available in Europe. But now I just found out you can buy this on Chanel.com. No stores sell it though, which is weird. So this is so good. This is so good. I had to buy a bottle.
This is the jet setting, Dad.
This is the one I'm going to spray on me. This is considered a sheep.
Look at you all fancy with your words.
You know what that means? It's a style of a fragrance named after the island of Cyprus.
This is bright and sharp, but like in a citrusy kind of sharp way.
In the Chanel citrusy kind of way.
Very classy, Dad, as well.
It's very, very classy. But you know, it's kind of similar to the Green Water, maybe the BLENHEIM Bouquet, and maybe the Eau Sauvage. Kind of in that same ballpark, right?
You can't say that because we didn't get to that one yet.
Well, speaking of Eau Sauvage.
Number 3.
Number 3.
I love this one. I wear this one as well.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
The earlier citrus as well that that I was saying reminded me of something is this one. This is top 3 for sure. It's but again, this is the spanning the generations, modern, classic, whatever, timeless kind of doodly awesomeness.
This one smells so modern, I think younger noses are going to be okay with it. But some of these fragrances that we have here, the dad fragrances, are probably a little too mature for them, right?
Yeah, but this is not.
No, this is definitely not.
This
I love this.
This covers all the
Absolutely love
all
it.
the bases. It has the bright kind of cologne splash kind of feel, but oh, it's so fresh and bright. I generally don't like fresh, but this isn't citrusy in a pulpy kind of way. This is just a bright.
Do you get the herbal stuff in there too? There's also vetiver in here.
Maybe I've only smelled the eau de parfum, or I've only worn the eau de parfum, and I think this is the eau de toilette. So maybe
You have the eau de parfum?
I've worn it. I don't have it
worn it.
anymore, but
Oh.
I have like a little one. It's
I have it. It's not. It's totally different than this.
of course
It's totally different.
number 3.
Number 3. Okay, number 2.
Number 2, because we've never ever mentioned this brand.
ARAMIS.
My dad wore this.
My
I
dad wore it.
totally remember this. This is a lovely patchouli, but
Dadly patchouli.
it's dad patchouli. This is the cool dad who was probably in a band. Like this
Really?
was
A band?
You know.
Not the executive?
Who is now an executive.
Oh, okay.
When he was younger.
When he was young, he was in a band.
Yeah, he was like, you know, a rebel, and then he harnessed his sort of like rock and roll energy to become like a badass in the boardroom.
So is this a vintage bottle?
It is, and it's so good.
What year does it date back to?
I don't know.
Oh my god, that smells good.
Right?
That smells so good. Look at this.
This is, sorry about the fingerprints all over it. This is really...
It's a vintage.
Yeah, look for this one on the Eebs, on the eBay. It's number 2. It only got beat out by a really excellent one. This is almost the ultimate dad.
What beat it out?
You tell me. I don't know how to say it. Yves Saint Laurent, who hasn't been on the list yet.
KOUROS.
That one's so good.
This is the fragrance that dads wore.
That's really...
The hairy-chested dads.
There's nothing wrong with a hairy chest.
It's pretty hairy fragrance, actually.
This is, yeah, but it's kind of almost got that incensey kind of feel to it. I'm gonna be skin. Sorry, Mary, I don't know if I have any fingers left. But
Okay, give me a finger too.
Oh, this is a powerhouse. This is what I think of when I think of those like 80s beast kind of like...
This is total 80s, yeah.
Yeah, but so good. Well, it's mostly alcohol at the moment, but the dry down is kind of great.
What's that stuff that you put in the toilet?
It does not smell like a urinal cake.
Yeah, it smells like urinal.
No, it does not smell like a urinal cake.
That's what people say it smells like. I don't think it smells like urinal cake.
People's noses are broken, and that is a travesty, but this doesn't smell like urinal cake. This smells...
Does it smell like a urinal?
I don't spend a lot of time in them. However, it does smell like freshly shaved, awesome, hairy-chested dad. We should take that over.
Are you a fan of hairy-chested dads?
No comment. But look for this one. It's delicious. So that is our list.
That is our list, guys. What do you think? Did we miss anything? I know there's some other ones that are very popular.
Yeah, what did your dad wear? Put it in the comments.
I know YSL has one that's very popular. I think it's called YSL Pour Homme, and there's also Jazz from them. But
Jovan Musk, my dad wore that.
Is it Jovan or Jovan?
You tell me all the times when I pronounce things wrong, just tell me so that I know. Jovan.
You remember? I remember Sex Appeal. You remember that one?
No.
Sex Appeal from Jovan?
No, but that's a very like attention-getting name.
Mm-hmm, it is.
Spell it out. Why don't you?
Sex Appeal.
But yeah, a lot of these are great. I mean, retro, but totally
fun to have, fun to wear, fun to smell, fun to
scent
talk
memories
about.
are fun.
Yeah.
And you may not even realize that somebody close to you in your life wore this, and you'll smell it and just be like, what? So yeah, let us know what you think of this video, if we should do more like this.
Yeah, let us know, put some comments down. What are your favorite dad fragrances? What fragrances did your dad wear? Let us know so we can get a conversation started. Also, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Today we are doing top 20 fragrances that your dad wore with Dahlia.
Coming right up.
No, not your dad wore with Dahlia. We're doing the video with
Your
Dahlia.
dad did not wear them with me.
Stay tuned.
Heavily edited later.
Let's take that over.